Hello everyone. Please be a part of our YouTube family and grow with us. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you. Before the roar of the crowd, before the crack of the starting gate, before legends were written into record books, there was the sound of hooves on dirt. That sound has echoed through generations at CAYMANAS Park. It has carried dreams, heartbreak, triumph, and faith. And among the many riders who answered its call, one name continues to rise above the noise: George Hosang. This is not just the story of a jockey. This is the story of discipline over doubt, of intelligence over brute force, of a Jamaican rider who mastered his craft at home, then carried that mastery across borders, climates, and cultures. This is the story of George Hosang, master of the saddle. George Hosang's story begins long before trophies, championships, or newspaper headlines. It begins in Jamaica, a place where horse racing is not simply a sport, but a living tradition woven into daily life. At CAYMANAS Park, mornings arrived quietly, before the crowd, before the betting slips, before the noise. The track belonged to the workers, grooms, exercise riders, trainers, and to the horses themselves. It was here that young George Hosang learned the rhythms of racing. He was not born into privilege. There were no shortcuts. His education came through work, real work, cleaning stalls, leading nervous horses, watching senior jockeys saddle up with calm confidence. These were the lessons that shaped him. In those early days, George learned something critical. Horses are not machines. They are athletes with personalities, emotions, and limits. Respect was not optional, it was required. Jamaican racing demanded toughness. Opportunities were scarce. Mistakes were remembered, and reputations were earned slowly. George absorbed it all, developing patience, humility, and focus. By the time he dreamed of riding competitively, he already understood racing from the inside out. He wasn't chasing glory. He was chasing mastery. The apprentice years are where jockeys are forged. For George Hosang, these years were defined by discipline. Strict diets, early mornings, endless gallops, and constant observation. Apprentices did not demand opportunities. They waited for them. George waited, but he prepared. Every morning ride was treated as a test. Every instruction from a trainer was absorbed. He studied pace, balance, and timing. He learned when to let a horse relax and when to ask for more. When his chances finally came, Hosang rode with intelligence beyond his years. He didn't rush. He didn't panic. He trusted his instincts. His first wins came quietly but consistently. Trainers noticed. Owners took interest. Slowly, the doors opened. By the end of his apprentice period, George Hosang was no longer just another young rider. He was a professional in the making. The early 1970s marked the arrival of George Hosang as a force in Jamaican racing. From 1972 to 1975, Hosang captured the champion jockey title 4 consecutive times. But dominance isn't just about numbers, it's about control. Hosang understood races like few others. He judged pace perfectly. He saved ground. He waited. And when the moment came, he struck decisively. His hands were quiet, his posture balanced, his confidence unmistakable. Owners demanded him. Trainers trusted him. Fans watched closely, knowing that if Hosang was in the saddle, the race was never over. These were the years that defined his legacy in Jamaica. Years of excellence, intelligence, and mastery. Dominance in horse racing is never enjoyed in silence. When George Hosang rose to the top of Jamaican racing, he did not ride alone. He rode under pressure. Constant, unrelenting pressure, from rivals determined to stop him, from owners demanding results, and from fans who now expected excellence every time he entered the gate. The jockey colony at CAYMANAS Park during Hosang's prime was stacked with talent. These were not passive competitors. They were aggressive, intelligent riders who studied tape, memorized tendencies, and looked for even the smallest weakness. Every race became psychological warfare. George Hosang understood this reality early. He knew that championships were not only won with strong finishes, but with mental strength. Rivals tried to pressure him early in races, forcing faster fractions. Others tried to trap him on the rail or push him wide around the turn. Mistakes were hunted, but Hosang rarely gave them what they wanted. He rode with patience that frustrated opponents. He refused to panic when boxed in. He trusted his judgment and waited for openings others couldn't see. There were rivalries, real ones. Riders who wanted to prove they were better. Riders who believed Hosang's success could be challenged with aggression. Yet even in fierce competition, something remarkable happened. Respect grew. Fellow jockeys recognized that Hosang rode clean races. He did not intimidate recklessly. He did not endanger others for advantage. When he won, it was through skill, not shortcuts. That mattered deeply in the jockey room. Owners and trainers noticed it too. They trusted him in big moments because they knew he would not lose composure under pressure. Some of his most impressive victories during this period were not runaway wins. They were hard-earned battles, races decided by inches, by timing, by nerve. In those moments, George Hosang revealed something greater than dominance. He revealed professionalism. By the time his reign at CAYMANAS Park was well established, Hosang had become more than a champion. He had become a standard. And standards are what shape generations. Every great career reaches a crossroads. For George Hosang, that moment came not after failure, but after success. By the mid-1970s, Hosang had conquered Jamaican racing. 4 consecutive champion jockey titles. The trust of elite trainers. The admiration of fans. At CAYMANAS Park, his name carried weight. And yet, something stirred beneath the surface. The question was simple, but heavy. What comes next? For many riders, this would have been the moment to settle in. To protect a legacy already secured. To enjoy the comfort of familiarity. But George Hosang was not wired for comfort. He understood a truth that elite competitors eventually face. Dominance in one arena does not answer the question of potential. To truly know how good you are, you must test yourself against the unknown. Canada represented that unknown. The North American racing scene promised bigger purses, deeper competition, and far less patience for outsiders. It was colder, faster, less forgiving. And there were no guarantees that a Jamaican champion would be welcomed, let alone succeed. Leaving Jamaica was not just a professional decision. It was personal. CAYMANAS Park was home. The jockey room was familiar. The rhythms of the island shaped his life. Family, friends, and community were all tied to that world. Walking away meant risking everything he had built. There were voices urging caution. Why leave when you are already a legend? Why trade certainty for struggle? But ambition has its own voice, and it speaks clearly to those who listen. Hosang knew that staying would answer no new questions. Leaving might. The final days before his departure were quiet. There were no victory laps. No dramatic farewells, just reflection. He looked at the track that made him, the stables that taught him humility, the gate that had opened thousands of times beneath him. And then he chose growth. Packing his bags meant accepting humility all over again. In Canada, his titles would mean little. His reputation would have to be rebuilt from scratch. That reality did not frighten him. It motivated him. As the plane lifted from the runway, George Hosang carried more than luggage. He carried discipline, intelligence, and the quiet confidence of a man willing to bet on himself. The saddle had taken him as far as Jamaica could. Now it would carry him somewhere entirely new. When George Hosang arrived in Canada, the contrast was immediate and unforgiving. Gone were the warm mornings of CAYMANAS Park. Gone was the familiar rhythm of Jamaican racing. In its place stood vast racetracks, heavier horses, deeper fields, and a climate that tested the body as much as the mind. Canada did not care that Hosang was a 4-time champion. Here, reputation had to be earned again, ride by ride, finish by finish. The jockey room was different. The pace was different. The expectations were ruthless. Riders were stronger, races were longer, and mistakes were punished quickly. For the first time in years, George Hosang was not the man everyone was watching, and that was exactly where he was most dangerous. He listened, he observed, he adapted. Hosang understood that survival came before dominance. He learned the nuances of North American racing, the sharper early fractions, the importance of positioning, the patience required in larger fields. There were struggles early. Cold mornings stiffened muscles. Heavier silks demanded strength. Horses responded differently than those he knew in Jamaica. But fundamentals travel. Balance travels. Intelligence travels. Slowly, the wins came. Trainers began to notice how he handled difficult horses. Owners appreciated his consistency. Fellow jockeys recognized his tactical awareness. Then something shifted. Hosang was no longer just surviving. He was contending. Victories multiplied. Confidence returned. And soon, George Hosang achieved what many believed impossible. He rose to champion status in Canada. A Jamaican jockey, conquering one of North America's most competitive racing environments. This achievement meant more than personal success. It shattered assumptions. It opened doors for Caribbean riders who followed. Hosang had proven that excellence knew no borders. In the cold air of Canadian tracks, far from home, George Hosang completed his transformation. He was no longer just Jamaica's champion. He was a world-class jockey. To understand George Hosang's greatness, you must look beyond the win totals. Great jockeys are often defined by aggression, strength, or fearlessness. Hosang was defined by something quieter, control. From the moment he legged into the saddle, Hosang rode with intention. Every movement had purpose. There was no wasted motion, no frantic urging, no unnecessary struggle between rider and horse. He believed that races were not won by forcing speed, but by managing energy. Hosang studied horses the way chess masters study boards. He paid attention to how a horse warmed up, how it responded to pressure, how it carried itself entering the gate. These details told him more than any past performance line. Once the gates opened, his mind went to work. He counted strides. He measured fractions. He felt the rhythm beneath him and adjusted accordingly. If the pace was too fast, he waited. If it was too slow, he positioned himself to strike. Patience was his greatest weapon. Many jockeys panic when boxed in or shuffled back. Hosang trusted that races unfold and that opportunities reveal themselves to those who wait. His hands were famously soft. He guided rather than demanded. Horses responded because they felt understood, not bullied. This philosophy extended beyond race day. Hosang believed preparation was sacred. Morning gallops were rehearsals. Fitness was non-negotiable. Mental focus was everything. He approached each mount as a partnership. When younger riders asked for advice, Hosang did not speak about courage or luck. He spoke about listening. Listen to the trainer. Listen to the horse. Listen to the race. That mindset separated him from the rest. In an era where speed often overshadowed strategy, George Hosang proved that intelligence could still dominate. And that lesson remains timeless. In horse racing, numbers are everywhere. Wins, losses, percentages, titles, records. They flash across scoreboards and headlines, offering quick judgments about greatness. And by any numerical standard, George Hosang's career stands tall. Across Jamaica and Canada, Hosang accumulated hundreds of victories, a body of work that places him firmly among the most successful riders of his era. Multiple championships, countless feature races, years of consistency at the highest levels of competition. But numbers by themselves are incomplete. They tell us what happened, but not how or why. To understand Hosang's true impact, you have to look at what those numbers represented. Each win was not just a finish line crossed, it was trust repaid. Trust from trainers who put their best horses in his hands. Trust from owners who believed he would make the right decision in the heat of competition. Trust from horses who responded to his calm guidance. Milestones came quietly. There were no excessive celebrations, no self-promotion. Hosang treated victories as confirmation of preparation, not validation of ego. What separated him from many of his peers was longevity. Champions often burn brightly and briefly. Hosang endured, year after year. Across different tracks, different climates, and different generations of competitors, he remained relevant. That consistency required adaptation. Racing styles evolved. Horses became faster and stronger. Younger riders brought new energy and aggression. Hosang adjusted without abandoning his principles. His numbers reflect something deeper than dominance. They reflect reliability. In racing, reliability is rare. It means showing up prepared when others falter. It means making good decisions under pressure. It means earning opportunities again and again. When historians look back at the statistics of George Hosang's career, they will see impressive totals. But those who understand racing will see something more meaningful. They will see a jockey whose numbers tell the story of trust, discipline, and respect, measured not just in wins, but in reputation. For every athlete, there comes a moment when the body can no longer compete at the highest level. For George Hosang, retirement from competitive racing did not mean leaving the sport behind. Instead, it marked the beginning of a new chapter, one focused on guidance, mentorship, and the preservation of values. Hosang returned to the jockey rooms and training yards not as a competitor, but as a teacher. He shared insights gleaned from decades of racing, from the subtle ways a horse reacts to pressure, to strategies for positioning in a crowded field, to the mental discipline required to make split-second decisions. Young riders, some wide-eyed and uncertain, found in him a patient and exacting mentor. He was known for asking questions rather than providing answers, forcing apprentices to think critically and develop their own instincts. Yet, when guidance was needed, his advice was precise, actionable, and steeped in experience. Beyond individual riders, Hosang became an ambassador for the sport itself. He supported programs to improve jockey safety, encouraged ethical treatment of horses, and fostered relationships between trainers and young talent. His voice carried authority because it was earned, not assumed. Hosang also remained engaged with racing communities in both Jamaica and Canada. He attended events, offered commentary, and maintained a presence that connected past generations with the new. For many, seeing him at the track was a reminder of the standards of professionalism and integrity that define true greatness. Even away from the tracks, he became a figure of inspiration. Stories of his patience, focus, and work ethic circulated in racing circles and beyond. He demonstrated that a champion's influence can extend far beyond personal victories. Through mentorship, advocacy, and continued engagement, George Hosang ensured that his knowledge, values, and philosophy would survive long after the final race had been run. He became more than a jockey. He became a custodian of the sport. The measure of a champion is not only in victories, but in the mark left behind. For George Hosang, legacy is everywhere, in the records, yes, but more importantly in the people and culture he touched. In Jamaica, his name remains synonymous with excellence. Generations of jockeys grew up hearing stories of his races, his composure, his intelligence, and his unshakable respect for horses. His victories at CAYMANAS Park are still celebrated, and a quarterly meet bearing his name ensures that his influence is tangible and ongoing. In Canada, Hosang's achievements opened doors for Caribbean riders. He proved that talent, preparation, and discipline can transcend borders, climates, and styles of racing. Young jockeys saw in him a path to international success. His legacy is also found in the countless riders he mentored, trained, and inspired. They carry his lessons forward about patience, mental toughness, and the sacred responsibility of guiding a thoroughbred. George Hosang's impact reaches beyond statistics. His philosophy, approach, and professionalism have become a benchmark in racing communities. He showed that greatness is not simply about winning, it's about integrity, preparation, and respect. The world of racing has many heroes. Some shine briefly, some shine brightly for years. Few, like George Hosang, leave an indelible imprint that persists across generations, continents, and cultures. As the sun sets over CAYMANAS Park and the gates close on another day of racing, one can hear echoes of his influence, in the rhythm of hooves, in the careful hands of new riders, and in the enduring spirit of the sport itself. George Hosang did not just ride horses. He mastered them, he guided them, and he left a legacy that will never be forgotten. His name is immortal in the world of horse racing. What more can I say? George Hosang, a true living legend. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel because we have a lot of exciting video coming.